As we've been telling you this morning, it's day 2 of the public inquiry into the Nova Scotia mass shooting. Today's hearings will look into the structure of policing in the province, but the inquiry began with some criticism from the Premier himself, Tim Houston, who accused the Commission of disrespectful treatment of victims' families and a lack of transparency. I'm very pleased to welcome the Premier this morning, Tim Houston. Thank you for taking the time to speak with us, Premier.
Thank you for having me. Happy to be here.
Well, those were some pretty strong words you used, and I know you were in support of the families, but can you help us understand why you felt that the Commission was being disrespectful of the families and not being transparent enough leading into their investigation?
Yeah, sure. And the significance of my words aren't lost on me. I know they're significant when I speak on something like this. So, look, the families. I mean, the tragedy that unfolded in Nova Scotia, it left an impact, of course, on every Nova Scotian and every Canadian, really, in many ways. But no more so than the families and the first responders and the people that were, kind of really directly impacted. So, in this province, there was a lot of emotions around whether there should be a full public inquiry or a review, which was being proposed by the government of the day, and the families pushed back, Nova Scotians pushed back, and ultimately there was a decision to do a full public inquiry. So that was good. But now here we are as we move through the inquiry, and there's still so many questions about the witnesses that will be called. Will it be comprehensive? Will there be cross-examination? I consider these to be kind of key fundamental structural questions that should not be languishing at this point in the process. So the families feel left in the dark. They've been raising those concerns to me. I raised them to Commission staff a couple of weeks ago. Didn't really see any change, but we need to hold the family close through this process. And when the families express concerns, we should all listen very closely, because if the families don't have confidence in the process, then why should anyone else have confidence in the process? So we're at a stage now. I think some changes can be made, and I'm just encouraging the commissioners and the inquiry staff to really hold those families close and listen very closely to what they're asking, and explain to them why it's not possible if it's not. But where it is possible and witnesses should be called, we should be doing this. The inquiry has to be comprehensive. It has to get to the answers that ultimately improve public safety. That's what this is all about. So it just felt to me, I was listening to the concerns that we're a little bit off path here. We need to get back on path, and that was the gist.
Okay, fair enough. But Barbara McLean, the Commission's investigations director, pointed out that you may have crossed a bit of a line there, Premier, because it's a joint federal-provincial inquiry. It's supposed to be beyond the reach of political influence, and they're just trying to do their job. And I'm coming at this, obviously, from a devil's advocate point of view here, because obviously the people impacted by this horrible act of violence, their pain knows no bounds. But to sort of prejudge the Commission ahead of time, who does that serve?
It serves the public. And honestly, I mean, as I said off the top, I didn't take these comments lightly. We spoke to family members, of course. We spoke to legal teams that were involved, spoke to the federal minister, spoke to my federal member of parliament, Sean Fraser, also a federal minister. And look, Sean also made a statement as well with kind of similar concerns. So really, this is not prejudging the outcome. What it's actually meant to do is to make sure that we fulfill the terms of reference, that we get answers to the questions that can be answered, that we improve public safety. So absolutely. And all due respect to the response from the Commission, my comments were only designed to make sure that we never lose sight of holding the families tight, being respectful of them, and that the process is designed to get an outcome that's as comprehensive as possible. So my concerns are about the process. So there's still lots of time to adjust the process. That's why I felt the need to speak up. Speaking up when this is all said and done, no good to anyone. Speaking up when there's still time to change path, I felt it was appropriate. And look, I know that there'll be some that say that I shouldn't have spoke up. I should bite my tongue. But that's not really my style, especially not on something as important as this. There's no room for error, and I believe it can be. I believe we can get back on path, and I'm just urging them, the inquiry team, to make sure that they get on that path.
I understand you wanted to light a fire under them, as it were. This is a massive inquiry, the worst mass murder in Canadian history, and so, to not politicize it, I think would be very important. And there has been family input. Not everyone is going to be happy. It would be impossible. But now that you've made those comments, will you be involving yourself further as the inquiry goes on?
Well, I hope it's not necessary. Really, and this is about, the list of witnesses that will be called is it comprehensive, and I don't want to get into the details of it, but certainly in my estimation and the estimation of a number of legal teams and experts and family members, the list that they have today omits some very key witnesses. So these are kind of fundamental things that can be adjusted, but certainly it's an independent inquiry. I fully respect that, and there will be those who think that I crossed the line by saying anything. To them, I say, I respect, all due respect to their opinion on it. But for me, as somebody who marched with the families and pushed for this inquiry, for me as somebody who, as a Nova Scotian that was impacted like every other Nova Scotian, it's too important to not raise your voice when you see something that can be changed. It can be fixable. All we're asking is that the commissioners meet with the family, listen to their concerns, and lay out a path to either address them or tell them why they can't be addressed. Just when we have family members saying they feel left in the dark, who's being served by that? So let's fix what we can fix.
Tim Houston, Premier of Nova Scotia. Again, I really appreciate you taking the time to come on this morning. Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Okay.